Ooh, that was close. I was about to be 10 minutes of that. All right. How are you guys? It's 7 o'clock. It's Saturday. All right. So working on my bar chords. Clean. A little slow, but still, they're clean. I've been plucking around with my electric a little more recently. Haha. How you doing, William? All right. So I have coffee. I'm feeling good about it. So I was let's put this here. Hopefully that don't tip over. Uh I didn't do a lot today. I feel good about that. So it looks like it's about to kick off in the Ukraine. They killed two soldiers, so but they've been killing soldiers for a while. Why are we always involved in shit? Why? I mean, who? It is gonna be. Yeah, I don't know. We're always spending money on wars. It's a way to bleed money out of the treasury into private hands in the forms of, weapons dealers, I guess. What did Eisenhower say in the 50s when he left? Beware the industrial complex, right? He warned you. Now here you are 50 years later. The whole place is a fucking shit show. Um, can't keep going to war all the time. The arrogance of these people. On both sides, how are you invading countries like it's all right, and how are you sitting here perpetually at war with the world while here at home falls apart? While your credibility here is shit. I don't know. I don't agree a lot with Bill Maher anymore, right? But he had a really good new rules this weekend, right? Had a good one last weekend about Whoopi Goldberg. Well, it wasn't really a new rule about Whoopi Goldberg, but he had a nice little kind of like thing about her last week, um, and he nailed it yesterday, right? This idea of China and like Russia and all this. What are you gonna do? What are you going to do? You're gonna fight all these wars perpetually? We send 100,000, right? France sends 3,000. The Britons send 1,500, right? The Spain will send 30. It's just fucking ridiculous at this point. It really is. People want other shit done in this country. So we're gonna see how this plays out. Cause I don't. You just got out of one. We looked it up yesterday. In, excuse me. In August. Has anybody watched any of the Olympics? I have not watched any of the Olympics. Biden request for COVID-19 fund faces resistance from lawmakers. Nothing gets done in this country, right? They have you perpetually warring with each other, and then when it gets out of hand, they want to blame you, right? This is the first time. January 6th isn't the first incident of the American populace sort of being aggressive with its political establishment. You'd think that they would have backed off after the Scalise shooting on the baseball diamond, but no, they're right back to you know this this bullshit, right? You've got middle people trying to get the microphone so they can be the victim of somebody, right? I looked up this thing about where is it? This Asian congressman video captures helicopter crashing into the ocean near Miami Beach. Ooh, that looks to be about 100 yards offshore. At least there's a lot of swimmers out there. What a great name, Cap Mo. All right, where? What was I looking at? With an article, they found 3 people all dead of COVID in the same house. I was like, good lord, COVID is a thing, right? Maybe at one point, this is just me speculating. At one point, there was a cold, right? And then the flu came around, killed off a whole bunch of people, but then just the flu stayed around. So now we have cold and flu season, right? Maybe this is that, right? So now we have cold and flu and COVID season, right? And it'd be like that for 100,000 years until something else springs up. We just speculating. We're not. Don't 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 strike us, YouTube. We're just. See, this is the kind of shit I'm talking about. People, well, People Magazine is trash. All right, what happened to my news? I get less news and more celebrity updates. People that they're trying to make household names, so down the line they can sell you shit with their face on it, or sell you shit that they're endorsing. That's the cycle. This is why Hollywood never has an issue with guns. It talks all this liberal shit. It stays away from guns, right? Also stays away from any sex, anything, any drug, anything too. The whole policy about drugs is uh, leniency, and all that's a shame because it's Rome there. It quite really is. It's just Rome. You lay it out in your giant house, a museum to yourself. People come, a house too big for you to clean. People come and gussy it up for you, scrub shit down, wipe shit off. You pay a guy to come through and do everything for you. One guy teaches you how to cook or cooks for you. One guy teaches you yoga or does yoga with you. One a guy or girl rather. One person is your gardener. Somebody else, right? So you sit up there like in the lap of kind of like this fantasticness, and if you want weed, it comes to you. Fine as a fine in big bunches. So God forbid or cocaine or whatever. God forbid you get caught with that shit. You want people to you want the official argument not to be Hollywood to be tough on drugs, right? You want to. So, but you use guns all the time in other movies, so you're not going to be pro gun control, even if in real life you are. I mean, remember, it's liberal Hollywood. Who barbecues in subways? And it happened more than once. Look, listen. If you do not lay down markers, people are like water, and they will run off the table. So you have to keep them in a glass. A glass is our society, right? Uh, Hopefully society is getting better. It looks like it's about to fall apart. But before actual society, you would sell off your daughter to strengthen alliance with this guy. Those would be kings, while other people would just get their family members kidnapped, right? Everybody needed a gun and a weapon, and you had to pay people for protection and all this bullshit. So now you have police departments that look after you. The only thing people did as a community was fight fires because everybody was a threat. I mean, right? Um, so then everything gets a little better coordinated, but then of course there's graft in the system and all that shit. And I'm essentially screaming about graft in the system. I'm pro cop, obviously. Obviously, I'm pro policeman. Whole families, cops and firemen and soldiers and nurses and teachers. Right? We're a service oriented bunch. Um, so yeah, I'm pro union too. Right? So, but I criticize unions. So it's that kind of thing. It's like where are we going wrong, and we should fix that before it gets worse. And I think America hasn't fixed some of its most sinister ills, and this is where we are. Um, F G A B flat major. Really? C D minor E. All right, I'm sorry. How do they know that? That makes sense though. I was trying to look up footage of it. Oh man, can you imagine? How did they get everybody off? Look, man, that is an amazing thing. We travel the seas still, right? It's one of it's like what it's one of the original occupations. Whether it's navigating tiny little waterways, right? Avoiding the storms. I mean, wow. So now you're out in the middle of the ocean. There's one video where there's a camera in the bow house, the bridge, and the boat breaks in half, kills like 20 people below decks, and I think like a lot of the other people got off. But I mean, the sea rushing in on you is crazy. Porsches, Bentleys, BMWs, yeah. Something tells me some giant insurance company that only deals with tankers and giant conglomerates when they move apparatus from point A to point B will be paying be paying out. Uh, Civilization, right? Middlemen, all these middlemen. You got more than you need, but what are you gonna do? Um, so yeah, hold on. Let me look up. Let me get a window open. I hate to say it. I burnt my day. Was I up late? Yeah, I think I kind of was up to like 1. Um, let's close this. I was kind of up to 1. What do you mean helicopter brought crew off? What does that mean? What helicopter? What crew? And off of what? Oh, I'm sorry. All right, I had moved on. I was thinking about right, the rescue. I was thinking about the helicopter that landed in Miami Beach, 100 feet from the water, versus this. So they managed to get a mayday out after fighting the fire. It sounds like we're in the here's our GPS locations. Mayday, mayday, mayday. And then someone in the area has to be an army. Has to be an army. Our Coast Guard goes beyond our borders to save people, and God bless them for doing it. Um, because they're the only ones who could, right? A military disciplined to the limit agency rather, right? Of men, women, can only they can do this. So lithium battery. Let's call it Porsche Boat Fire. How's that? Ooh, ship carrying 1,100 Porsches and other luxury cars is burning and adrift. A fire broke out Wednesday morning in the cargo hold of the ship, which departed from Emden, Germany on February 10th and was headed to Davisville, Rhode Island. Davisville. Everybody names a name after themselves. It's a thing the human animal does. Sometimes it's lame, but you have a good name, William, right? You can name it Conway, right? Very good. Uh, Everything down here is named Berg or Ville after somebody. The 650-foot long Felicity Ace car carrier caught fire and was abandoned off the coast of the Azores. All right, hold on. Let's look at where the Azores are. Do we want to put this on screen? Cause it's always good, Lord. The freaking. Do I want to present this on stream? All right, we're gonna try it. It's always the worst. Oh look, it's clear. All right, the Azores. All right. Oh wow. Santa Cruz, São Jorge, Medellin. Where the heck is this? Let's pull out. Oh, it's off the coast of Spain and Morocco, I guess, by about the same distance. North Atlantic, England, Britain, France. So yeah, let's while we're over here, let's look at this Russian situation. All right, Kazakhstan. Let's get all of this. These guys are perpetuating constantly at fucking war. They need to calm down. Uh, China is at war with Pakistan, right? I'm sorry, India and Pakistan is at war. Afghanistan we just left. Iran is a shit show. Saudi Arabia is still a shit show. Yemen is having a civil war. Saudi Arabia is protected by us. Jordan is protected by us. There's Israel, obviously protected by us. Fertile Crescent, right? Cairo, still green after 1,000 years. Uh, Algeria, Libya, yeah, well, Niger, Mali, New Guinea, yeah. Anyway, where were we? We were going to Russia. Look how big fucking Russia is. Um, we want to be over here. Lithuania, Latvia, Estonia, all the old Russian blocks, right? Poland, Ukraine. So here we are. Are you see? Yeah, see, it's breaking up. Uh, Ukraine opens to the Gulf. Well, the Black Sea. It's not really the Gulf. Turkey. This is the last place they took, Kiev. Yeah. So who's going over here? Who's going over here? Bulgaria. They need to get their shit together. Is what needs to happen. So let's close this. A mammoth car ship believed to be carrying thousands of vehicles, including 1,100 Porsches, was on fire and adrift in the coast of the Azores on Thursday. After 22 crew, oh, just 22, were rescued from the vessel. The fire broke out on Wednesday morning in the cargo hold. Wednesday morning was 3 days ago. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, today, Saturday. Okay, 3 days ago. Uh, the fire broke out Wednesday morning. The cargo hold of the ship, called the Felicity Ace, which had departed from Emden, Germany on February 10th, was scheduled to arrive in the port of Davisville, Rhode Island on Wednesday. Oh, really? So it would have taken a week to sail from Emden, Germany to Davisville, Rhode Island. It no, maybe a little more than a week because the fire started Wednesday, but it was already at sea. All right, I'm saying 10 days. Just interesting to me. Um, sorry, it's just interesting to me. Uh, the fire broke out Wednesday morning. Cargo hold. Ba, 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 ba. Oh, the Germany on February depart from Emden, Germany on February 10th and was scheduled to arrive on the port of Davisville on Wednesday, according to the ship tracking website. Very awesome. For a little while, I tracked satellites. I thought it was really interesting. The ship was about 200 miles from, oh man, Terceira, Terceira, Terceira Island in the Azores. The ship was about 200 miles from Terceira Islands in the Azores, the Portuguese island territory when the Portuguese forces moved in on Wednesday to evacuate the crew. Portuguese forces, yeah, the Portuguese military. Good job, guys. Excuse me. No rescuers or crew members were injured in the highly skilled and physically demanding operation, which included a helicopter that whisked the crew members to the nearby Portuguese island of Faial, 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 according to authorities. No rescuers or crew members were injured in the highly skilled and physically demanding operation. Here's the thing: you ran to the helicopter, you flew out there, you landed, they stepped onto the plane, you flew them back, and you landed. Where's the physically demanding part? You said no one was injured. If you had to go into the bowels of something and cut somebody open and carry somebody up some stairs to get the hell out of there, this is the stuff I mean by reading between the lines. Because everybody wants to, everything is never as everything is never simple. They're always telling you some grand story. Um, Weapons of mass destruction. Remember that? Yellow cake. Remember that? Hillary Clinton being shot at getting off a plane. Remember that? Always. Where is this thing? Let me. Always trying to. Teddy Ted. Yeah, we're gonna get to the batteries. Uh, it was unclear how much of the 650-foot, 60,000-ton cargo ship, 60,000 ton or 120,000 pounds, inventory was lost. It's unclear. What are you talking about? You said the whole boat was on fire. Do you know how fires work? Unless it put itself out, which doesn't seem likely if all the cars had oil and gas and flammable shit like seats, right? And then it's in a pressure cooker. The place in there gets hot. Even when the flames aren't around, shit begins to melt and catch fire, and stuff begins to leak and explode and burst into flame. So you're going to get more conflagration, right? Um, it was unclear how much of the 650-foot, 60,000-ton cargo ship inventory was lost in the fire and how the authorities would tend to the stricken ship. I thought it was sinking. The drive was what? When is this? February 17th. This is 2 days ago. All right. We should have found a more recent one. This is the New York Times. Should we finish it? It's we're not. They spoke to a car enthusiast. Matt Farah, a car enthusiast and editor of The Smoking Tire, had been waiting for his 2022 Frozen Berry Metallic Boxster Spider with a retail price of $123,000, modified to his precise specifications since August. The best sport car of all time, hands down, he wrote. He receives disappointing news on Wednesday. He said, I just got a call from my dealer. My car is now adrift, possibly on fire in the middle of the ocean. In the statement on Thursday, Ms. Farr said that the port's representative confirmed that his car was one on the boat and had apologized for the inconvenience. Do you not know what the word inconvenience means? Um, it's ridiculous. The inconvenience. Thank you, Ted. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Thank you. Oh my gosh, the inconvenience. Um, it's a little more than inconvenience, but again, inconvenience is being late, right? But anything more than you missing your plane is not an inconvenience, right? So if I cause you to miss your flight, that's 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 bigger than an inconvenience. But an inconvenience is, man, I'm 10 minutes late. That guy holding up the elevator waiting for that. That's an inconvenience. An inconvenience is I would categorize as a minor annoyance. Sorry. Uh Minor annoyance. All right. But then again, it is just a car. All right. So let's get rid of this. Or do you want to go back? We want to look up a more recent article since we're not going to finish that one. Is has it not? Ship came porches, but then 1 day ago, 2 days ago, 4 hours ago, firefighter boats headed to burn. Oh, so it's still firefighter boats. Really? They have firefighter boats that head out into deep ocean water to put fires out? It's amazing. Excuse me. Firefighting boats head to burning ship carrying Volkswagen, Porsches, and Bentley cars. Your car is going to smell like fire. I don't know if you're going to want it. Wall Street Journal. To read the full article, subscribe or sign in. So we can't even read the full article because it is what it is, what it is, isn't it? And that's what it is. Uh, Car and driver 2 days ago. The Washington Post. The Wall Street Journal. Ship carrying Porsches. Reuters. Reuters. You can always count on Reuters. All right. How old is this story? February 18th, 2022, 2:29 p.m. Last updated a day ago. Ship carrying Porsches and Bentley ablaze near the Azores, towing boats en route. Excuse me. The Felicity Ace. Lithium batteries in the electric cars keeping blaze lit. Towing boats en route next week. Salvage teams on ship. Crews unharmed and evacuated on Wednesday. Navy. Berlin, Lisbon, February 18th. Reuters. A ship carrying about 4,000 vehicles, including the other one just said 1,100 vehicles. See what I mean? 4,000 vehicles, including Porsches and Audis and Bentleys, that caught fire near the coast of the Azores will be towed to another European country or the Bahamas. The captain of the nearest port told Reuters on Friday. The Bahamas is all the way across the ocean. All right, I'm sorry. The Azores. All right. Where's the Bahamas? Isn't this the Bahamas? The Caribbean. Yeah. So this is here. They're gonna tow it all the way over here. That don't make any sense. British Virgin Islands, Montserrat, Dominican Republic, Martinique, which is French, St. Vincent's, Grenada, Trinidad and Tobago, Aruba, Caracas, Jamaica. Or this little like indentation of this pocket. Barbados, Barbuda rather, Antigua, British Virgin Islands, Puerto Rico, Dominican Republic, Turks and Caicos, the Bahamas. The Bahamas off the coast of Florida. All right, so they're talking here. Oh boy. All right. All these Bentleys that caught fire off the coast of the Azores will be towed to another European country or the Bahamas. The captain of the nearest port told, wow, that is okay, told reported that they're going to tow this thing 8,000 miles. Okay. Um, that doesn't make any sense. Why would they do that? Okay, let's finish the story. Police today says caught fire in the blaze and requires specialist equipment to extinguish. Right. A lot of oil, a lot of gasoline is flammable. Yeah. Uh, Captain João Mendes Cabecas of the Port of Hortus said João, Joao, Mendes, Mendes, Cabecas, Cabecas, Cabezas. Is that Cabezas or Cabecas? Uh, it was not clear whether the batteries first sparked the fire. You know what? Here's the thing. First, there were no cameras. Then there were security cameras that you had to retrieve the tape. Then there were security cameras that you could monitor. Now, rather, there's security cameras that you can monitor from a location, right? Now, there are security cameras, not even security cameras, like cameras are ubiquitous. So I'm pretty sure they downloaded it to a cloud, and when something goes wrong, they just go to that ship and look. You don't need to monitor it anymore. It's everything is 24-hour surveillance. Hey, Doctor G, good to see you. Happy Saturday, man. Um, yeah, thanks. I appreciate you. It was not clear whether the battery sparked the fire. If you're mentioning batteries, you know somebody told you that the battery sparked the fire, and this is why I'm thinking why they, because it could be anything. Why wouldn't you say it's arson then? You know what I mean? So if you're saying the battery sparked the fire, then something is leading you to say that, because the battery manufacturers would be like, "How dare you? That is slander. We're suing everybody because we make quality lithium products, right?" Or you could have either been like, yeah, it's arson. We don't know who, right? That's an easier out. That way you're not pointing your finger at anybody. But they say if they're saying lithium batteries, something tells me they got a leak that, well, everything's under surveillance. They were looking, cameras and like just like they have them in garages where you pull in, and they saw the spark at some time and nothing. Nobody went near it since they put it there, and they think what happened was the lithium battery because nothing else would have did it. Right? That's got to be it. That's got to be it. That's got to be it. But why are they towing it to the Bahamas? That's what I don't understand. Pictures provided by the Portuguese Maritime Authority showed severe burns on the bow and along the 200-meter long, 200-meter, 2,000. I'm sorry, 220-yard long side of the ship, which according to the Refinitiv data was built in 2005 and can carry 70,338 tons of weight. TONNES. Reuters. Uh, Towing boats were en route from Gibraltar in the Netherlands, with three due to arrive by Wednesday, which is 4 days from now. So it's going to blaze and burn adrift in the ocean for 4 days before you can get on scene, before you can even begin to put it out. Are they expecting to save some of these cars that are going to smell like smoke? Or are they expecting it not to sink to the bottom because that could be an environmental hazard? I'm going to go with that. Because the paranoid in me says there was something else on this boat other than cars, right? uh, Canada vessel could not be towed to the Azores because it was so big it would block trade at the port. Okay, so at least you're addressing what my paranoid self thought. Towing boats were en route from Gibraltar and the Netherlands, with three due to arrive by Wednesday. Quebecer said he added that the vessel could not be towed to the Azores because it was so big it would block trade at the port. Okay, but it came from Germany. There was a port in Germany where you loaded these cars. Why wouldn't it go back to Germany? There's something up with this. There's something up with this. Let's be paranoid on our weekend. Hey, it's our weekend. We can be conspiratorial if we want. I don't know what was on that boat, but there was something on that boat. Um, Other than swanky cars, which already lets most of the people stay away from it because there's Porsches and Bentleys and such from some high end so and so, right? So you can easily have one of those boxes packages be some government thing going to Rhode Island of all places. Why not New York? Rhode Island is a nice quiet port. This is the kind of shit that John Grisham used to write about when I was reading his not John Grisham, who write good lawyer stuff, but not John Grisham. Who's the guy who wrote the Hunt for Red October and the Jack Ryan books? Ah, they were so good. They were so full of like suspense and tension in the Hunt for Red. Yeah, the Hunt for Red October. Patriot Games. Uh, what is his name? I might go back and read some of those. Those are really good reads. They were amazingly fast reads too. They were so interesting. You could like gobble them up like potato chips. Um, and but those stories always had like something like this going on, right? It would be some stupid thing that you read in the paper like this that some weird guy dug into, and then he turns up dead in the park, and then some unconnected beat cop detective gets it, and he's like, yeah, but he had no friends, and he was always online, and we checked his house, and nothing was wrong, but there was no, there wouldn't be two glasses. There'd be some way to give away. They were like he had two computers, um, and he always played a game, and one of the game files uh only said game files, but it had other shit in it, right? And then someone stole his computer, and then no, someone his computer's missing, so that's no. That's the first kind of thing that like triggers them to that something's going on, right? So then it's that kind of thing. It's like this one small little piece of thread, and before you know it, Wesley Snipes did one where he was building a model in his house, and it was too big to move, and they were going to condemn his house. And he found out somehow that this woman who had died was killed at the White House, right? So then it was him and this rogue Secret Service agent who wanted to uncover it against like the government because somebody in the White House killed this girl, right? But it was like this local beat cop all of a sudden is up against like the giant apparatus. I wasn't really a fan of like the American government always being the bad guy. What was the name of these movies? I figured y'all would help me in the chat. What was the Wesley Snipe movie? Clear and Present Danger was one of. But anyway, yeah. So this strikes me as one of those, right? Where it says there's 1,100 Porsches, but there's only like 100 or 11,000 Porsches, but there's like 1,000 Porsches and like a super secret spy satellite or some super value target, or they're gonna take it to Rhode Island because it's a quiet port and who's by Rhode Island. Um, Meanwhile, they're being trailed by a super government, not another government like U-boat, and then that's what started the fire when they fired on them. Some rogue Iranian or Russian U-boat cap. Do they still have U-boats? You know what I mean? Anyway, that's how the story takes off. And before you know it, we're all sitting in the movie. Well, not me sitting in the movie theater anymore. Me catching it on Netflix. That's the thing we boys like action adventure stuff. Comic books is part of that. And apparently, romance novels and Hallmark card stuff is what ladies like. And there is crossbleed crossover, right? Don't get it twisted. And there is bled genres, romance and space, right? Space adventure. It's all good stuff. Star Wars was that. Star Wars had all that. It had romance, right? The first one anyway. Before you found out everybody was related. Um, Action adventure. Everybody could get behind it. Had a princess and a cowboy and a pirate. Had robots. Had mystic knights. Had magic. Had wizards. Throw everything in the fucking pot. uh, the 22, excuse me, the 22 crew members. Wait, hold it. The Panama flagship owned by Snowcap car carrier SA managed by Mitsuo OSK Lines Limited Art Ltd. Brackets 9104 point capital T close brackets. I don't even know what that means. What does that mean? You can click on it and see what we get. Reuters. Oh, it's a stock market index. Wow, Reuters will tell you if wow, that's pretty good. Reuters mentions the name of the company and it says Volkswagen, and then it gives you the stock market number to click on, and it sends you to their stock page of how they're doing. That's pretty fucking good. I may have to switch over and read Reuters more. Uh, has a factory in Davisville, and see that explains why they're going to Davisville. Has a Volkswagen has a factory in Davisville. Man, my spy, it was going someplace. Well, it probably wasn't going any place. Mitsuo OSK Lines Limited and Smith did not immediately respond to a request for comment. 22 crew members on board were evacuated on Wednesday, and when the fire broke out with no one hurt, Portuguese Navy said in a statement. Around 1,100 Porsches and 189 Bentleys were on board. Spokespeople for the car brand owned by Volkswagen. Both the Bentleys owned by Volkswagen? Huh. I knew Porsche was owned by Volkswagen. Okay, were on board, but I don't know that. Around 1,100 Porsches and 189 Bentleys were on board. Spokespeople for the car brands, okay, there are two of them, owned by Volkswagen, said, hold it, wait, see, that's the craziness. If they're both owned by the same company, you can say a spokesperson for, versus saying spokespeople for both car brands owned by the same company. Or you could say two spokespeople for the company released a joint statement. That's that. Why would you write that sentence? Oh, my brain hurts. All right, y'all are messing with me on my weekends with sentences like this. Okay, 1,100 Porsches and 189 Bentleys were on board. Spokespeople for the car brands, plural, owned by Volkswagen said Audi and another Volkswagen brand confirmed some of its vehicles were on the ship. Oh, Audi is a secondary. Man, you guys got to be kidding me. Audi and another Volkswagen brand? Okay. This whole fucking sentence is janky as fuck. 1,100 Porsches, 100 Bentley were on board. Spoke to for the car brands owned by Volkswagen. Said, "Bam." That makes it sound like both Bentleys and Audis are owned by Volkswagen. Audi and another Volkswagen brand means sounds like there's a third Volkswagen brand confirming some of its vehicles are on board, right? So you're essentially telling me Audi and Volkswagen's spokespeople both released a statement. In the earlier sentence, you're saying Porsche and Bentley are owned by Volkswagen. So what you wanted to say here is 1,100 Porsches and 189 Bentleys were on board. A spokesperson for the Volkswagen, which owns uh, Porsche and Bentley, and a spokesperson for Audi released statements saying X, Y, and Z. Who wrote this? No, see, it doesn't give you who's. It doesn't tell you who wrote it. That's why I don't read Reuters because I always want to know who wrote what. All right. So 1,100 Porsches, Bentleys, 109 Bentleys were on board. Spokesperson for the car brands owned by Volkswagen said, and out blah, said period. adding another Volkswagen brand confirmed some of the vehicles were also on the ship, but did not state how many. All right. Volkswagen did not confirm the total number of cars on board and said it was awaiting further information. YouTuber Matt Farah, whose automobile review channel, The Smoking Tire, has more than a million followers, said that Twitter has contacted by a car dealer, said his Porsche was on board. All right, here's the problem. Wait, there's a boat right there pouring water on it. How did you get a tugboat out there? How calm are these waters in the Azores that you can get are you telling me? Okay, so there's there's a port. Okay, there are ports here, small ports on these islands, and these islands have tugboats and shit like that. So I'm assuming that they just tuckered out to get it because it left from Germany, right? So here's Germany. And so it likely went here through Belgium and London, right? Through these straits. I forgot what these straits are called. Do you want to look? Um, the English Channel. Yeah, let's call it that. Out here into the wider Atlantic. So yeah, the wider North Atlantic. Gets over here, catches fire. Help from Portugal comes, right? Which is right here, Portugal. But they're sending bigger firefighting boats. But meanwhile, it's here where these 8 little islands are, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 little islands. And obviously there are ports here because it says Porto Delgado and Port Pico de Gallo. I don't know what the hell that says. Anyway, so they're obviously civilization. We're the human animal. Like we're like rats. We're all over this planet, everywhere but Antarctica. So there was help. So that explains the helicopter response. I'm assuming the helicopter response had to have come from here because what helicopter is doing? Hold on, let's get a wider map going. Yeah, going from Spain to here would have been like going flying in a helicopter from New York to Kansas, right? So somebody had to be out here, and a tugboat is not making this trip. So that okay, I get it now. Um, I'm saying, but why not? You can't take it to this little island because the ship is too big. Fort de Sabras. So these islands are owned by Portugal. And there are military people stationed on this island with helicopters and shit. And they flew out and rescued these guys. I was like, how you get a helicopter out there? Oh, yeah, that don't look good at all. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It looked like 6 stories of the boat caught fire. So yeah, that's a lot of burning cars. We can close that. All right, where are we? All right, so war in the Ukraine. Like the song says, you can get it if you really want. You can get it if you really want. Uh, why do people think there won't be a nuclear war? We drop bombs on motherfuckers to prove a point. Wiped out 150,000 people, right? With 2 bombs. What makes you think it's always going to be somebody else? Uh, what do we stand for as a people? What do we stand for as a group? What do we stand for as a species? Quite frankly, this is getting really ridiculous. Um, Meanwhile, there's a storm coming in the northeast, so brace yourself. It was nice here yesterday. It was like 70 degrees. Now all of a sudden it's getting cold and it's 40 degrees. It is what it is, man. 12 people still missing after two stranded truck drivers rescued from a burning Greek ferry. Here's another boat story, but with a sadder ending. 12 people still missing after two stranded truck drivers rescued from burning Greek ferry. Two stranded truck drivers. That sentence is janky too. Rescue specialists boarded a burning ferry in Greece to free two truck drivers who had been stranded inside the vessel for more than 15 hours, but hope was fading for 12 others reported missing. The rescues descended from the helicopter onto the ship through thick clouds of smoke to eventually locate two men inside the Euro Ferry Olympic ferry who had spent hours on a parking deck waiting for help. So they were trapped within the bowels of the ship. The fire was above them. Yeah, I mean, it's fucked up to be trapped in a basement, not being able to get up through the fire to get out. Just as bad as being trapped on a roof, not being able to get down off a fire. Because what fire wants to do is climb up. As it climbs up, everything it touches burns and falls to the ground and can fall on you. Water is the exact opposite, obviously. Water seeks its lowest level, right? So what water wants to do is flood downward. Water wants to hit the lowest level it can possibly hit. And with fire, it runs up your walls and into your roof and into your attic and across. And with water, it runs down and into your basement and spreads out and expands. It's very, you know, it's a very interesting world we live in. How things uh, can be innocuous at one moment, then all of a sudden, fully out of control the next moment. Wow, missing people. Yeah, you lock yourself in a room to get away from the fire, or which makes sense. But the fire is ever marching in on you. And what do you do? Run through the fire? That's not gonna happen. Uh, it's fire, for God's sakes, right? You're not gonna be able to endure it for 30 seconds as you run a competent straight line. And most people have to go around stuff and zigzag. And fire is a brutal thing to be in. Yeah, I give firemen a ton of credit. I really do. I wouldn't do it. Um, Growing up, we had a couple of people die in fires. One family, everybody got out. Two got out the back. I think the mom and dad and the brother went out the front, and somebody, I think the father went back in or the brother went back in to get, but he had the other person he went looking for came out the back and ran around the front of the house. They were like, he went in to get you. Then that brother went in, and then they both died in the fire. Uh, just kind of like don't once you're out. We were taught to have an exit plan. Actually, everybody get out. Don't unless you're little babies. Everybody get out. First of all, the house isn't that big for most people, right? But everybody get out, and then you meet in the front of the house to make sure we got everybody. But children will hide in the closet. And then you got to look for them. Try and get the dogs and the cats out. And the dogs are afraid and they're under the bed. Yeah. Um. I guess that's it. We didn't even set the timer. What time is it? It's 8 o'clock. All right. So I guess this is where we end it. Ba, 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 ba. Drinking coffee at 8 o'clock at night. That cannot be good for me. Mm. Thank you, William. I'm glad you mentioned that. We're gonna take a couple of minutes. So another Epstein guy killed himself in a French prison. He was a manager, not a manager, a model like head. agent, and then he was the head of uh, a modeling agency. There's a picture of him, Epstein, and Ghislaine Maxwell on a plane, and she's doing this with her titties, right? But it's sideways, and he's looking away, and Epstein is like laughing, and they were like in an undated photo. Let me see if I can find that photo, because I looked at this picture and I was like, what is going on here? um, Epstein associate dies. Da 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 da. Here's the picture. All right. Here's this image. I want this image open. Open image in a new tab. Here you go. Let's make this big. See, so look at her hands, right? She's like this. And he's like, la 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 la. First of all, his pants says pedophile. And then, of course, here's Epstein with one sock on and one sock off with his foot up. What's going on in this picture? What is going on in this picture? On his private jet. She's warding him off from grown woman titties, I guess. I don't know. He doesn't want any part of it. He thinks it's hysterical. Why? This whole thing is just bizarre. Let's get rid of this. But let's read about it. Jean-Luc Brunel found dead. ABC News. Jeffrey Epstein associate Jean-Luc Brunel found dead by suicide in prison. I'm telling you, and look, listen, it's the man in the iron mask, right? It's Manuel Noriega all over again. Once they grabbed him, he didn't give any police. You can only hear from his lawyer or whatever, right? Who will give you a statement. But his side of the story, no one's ever gonna know, and the government will throw you in a cell, never to be seen again. And this is what that is. For all you know, uh, Ghislaine Maxwell won the coin flip and wasn't the one to get strangled in jail. But you're never going to talk to her again. She can talk whatever shit she wants. The government has all her possessions. They raided her house. They took possession of everything, right? All the other stuff is outside the country in her home nation of England, who has their own pedophile prince issue, who they fixed. And I like to remind you, I told you nothing was going to happen to him. Just like I said, nothing was going to happen to Donald Trump. So they're talking about the Trump has to, him and his kids has to talk to this judge. That's not going to happen. Not going to happen. He's protected, and his people are protected. He wasn't a bus driver, right? He was the president of the fucking United States. And all these Democrats who don't like him are really fucking with the norms of the country to get revenge on him because they can't deal with him any other way. Uh I mean, the Clintons took home private shit too. Remember that. Don't get crazy that. And then this idea that he was eating secret documents. Okay, I believe that when you show me the piss tapes. It's always some nonsense that I'm just supposed to buy that doesn't make any sense. Why would he be eating paper? Does he have a history of eating paper? All of a sudden, he's gonna what? Oh, just doesn't make any sense. And like I said, Hillary Clinton shows up to say something smug, right as they go, "Yep, the Clintons were indeed spying on or trying to kind of like set this weird chicanery up during the election, right? The dirty tricks." Um, yeah, but I said nothing was going to happen to the Clintons because again, presidents, duh. Um, so nothing's going to happen to Trump, and like I said, nothing's going to happen to the prince. He pays some money. He gets to not be, a public figure, but he still gets to be a billionaire prince, right? His mom is still the queen. His brother will still be king, right? He'll be, if he wants to, he'll be showing up at these swanky things. And don't forget, he's a fucking prince. People will still be happy to have him at their swanky parties. They will, right? So they watch him grow up. From watch him be born, watch him go through his teenage year, his awkward phase, watch him his first day of school, all this shit. He'll disappear for a while in their culture, who God only knows, and then God only he'll have a fall or a heart attack or a stroke, and people are like, "Oh, the prince," and he's been a, and then someone will take him out, and people are starting to be nice to him, right? And that'll be it. Meanwhile, everybody else who's not a prince or whatever will be in jail. You don't see much of Bill Clinton, do you? You can say old if you wanna, but it's discredited, is what it is. And he's associated with Epstein too. Anybody looking after him? Nope. Presidents are not regular people. They're not, even after they're out of office. So this whole we're gonna throw fucking Donald Trump in jail is just bullshit politicians, just blowing smoke up your skirt. Let's read about this guy. So yeah, so like I said, she may not get choked out in the joint, but she'll be put in a little box and no one will ever hear again. And one day you'll look up and say, so so died in prison of this. Maybe it'll be cancer in 15 years after her sitting in a box. But all these other dudes, um, ABC News had learned that disgraced modeling agent and Jeffrey Epstein associate Jean-Luc Brunel died by suicide in his prison cell Saturday night in Paris. The Paris prosecutor's office confirmed to ABC News that Brunel was found dead in his prison cell around 1 a.m. local time at La Santa prison. Jean-Luc Brunel's lawyer tells ABC News Brunel hanged himself. The prosecutor hanged himself. The prosecutor's office declined to confirm the details of Brunel's death. In December 2020, Brunel was charged with rape of a minor over the age of 15 and sexual harassment, a crime in France. Sexual harassment is a crime in France. Um, in a statement on their client's death, which was in French and sent to and translated by ABC News, Brunel's lawyer said Brunel, distress, despair, in brackets, uh, was was the one of a 75-year-old man who was destroyed by the judicial media lynching, and we should question it. Our client firmly asserts he never abused any woman. He made multiple efforts to prove it. He was 75. His decision was not led by a feeling of guilt, but by a deep feeling of injustice. Um, it's one way to look at it. So they're saying he was a beaten man and wrong, and he killed himself. We're saying he was a guilty man and took the easy way out. His decision was not led by the feeling of guilt, but by a deep feeling of injustice. Brunel's attorney Matthias Chichportish, Chichportish. That's a lot of CHs. Chichportish is what I'm going with. Or it could be Shish Portish. Marion Abgrel and Christophe Ingrain. Uh, he's got four attorneys. Well, he is a rich guy. Brunel's attorney, Batai Chichporch, Marion Abgrel, and Christopher Ingrain. Okay, three attorneys. A delegate from the force of, oh, good lord, these French names. A delegate from the force of war, Ouvriere, of rare, of rare. Union for France's Penitentiaries, Penitentiary, Penitentiaries, Penitentiaries. Erwin Sawadu. Oh, for God's sakes. All right. Further confirmed Brunel's death. Saudi, Saoudi, Saudi said the prison procedures are that the prison guards conduct 5 checks on prisoners every night. Saudi said while there was no closed circuit TV in the modern world, you didn't have some of this is just fucking lazy. But you don't want cameras there because you're fucking treating people like shit, right? That's really what's going on here. Cops don't want cameras. Corrections officers don't want cameras. Mental health institutions don't want cameras. Any place where people have to look after people and not lose their temper. They don't want cameras. Uh, Saudi said the prison procedures are that the prison guards conduct 5 checks on prisoners every night. Saudi said while there was no closed circuit TV inside Brunel's cell, video in prison corridors proved that the prison guards did not miss any of these checks. Okay. He's a okay. No, he's not a high value target or anything. He's a notable criminal. Why would you not have him under surveillance? Can you have a camera pointed in a cell? They're a prisoner. They poop in public anyway. But what'll happen is somebody will be watching the Knicks game, and the monitor with the cell will be right here, and the guy will be hanging himself, and you'll be watching the Knicks game. And then they'll be like, "What happened?" And there's likely a camera in that room watching you watch him. Because the people above you want to conveniently fire you and then arrest you and say, "Wasn't me. That dude did not do his job." Me, I've got 13 years of college. So it's got to be him. He's a civil servant employee. Mm. Saudi and Brunel died. Saudi said Brunel died by suicide just after the guard's rounds, which shows the strong will of Jean-Luc Brunel to kill himself. Saudi added that Brunel was not on suicide watch because if he does commit suicide, it cures a problem for you at the high echelons of this kind of crap pyramid. This is what happened. There's a curtain, and there are these rich Caligula style people behind the curtain. Every now and then, either the curtain blows open or one of their drunk stumbles out, and you get a glimpse of some of the people who's back there with all the cocaine and the gold bricks and the 5-year-old girls, right? And then all of a sudden you go, I saw you and I want, and then so they push some people out, and and then the curtain is closed again, and they give you back your dancing monkeys. They'll hang these guys out to dry, and then they just keep it moving. I mean, some of this is really beginning to. I remember that guy who was like there raping kids in the basement of a pizzeria. I was like, that guy's an idiot. Every time I turn around, more and more stuff is happening with children. You're sitting here going, maybe there is an international cabal of weird, rich, you know, sinister people. Why wouldn't they? There's sinister people in all other groups. Why would there not be sinister, rapey, drug addict, cruel, right? Isn't that guy who was a Clinton money guy killed 2 people with drugs? He's in jail, right? Getting drug addicts high so he could have sex with them, and he drugged 2 of them. And they died in his millionaire's apartment. Now he's sitting in jail. It happened twice. The second time there was enough outcry. It was 2 black guys. The second time there was enough outcry that they arrested him. But the first one was free. What was that guy's name? Are we gonna finish reading this? In January 20, Virginia Giuffre flew to Paris approved to provide testimony at a closed-door hearing on Brunel's detention. Giuffre, in the same filing in 2014 with the first 2 accused Prince. Yeah, I don't know. She got $7 million out of this thing. That's why I'm thinking, man, is this a money grab or is this legit? Uh, Clinton, Clinton owner. Ed Buck, U.S. Democratic Party donor Ed Buck charged with running a drug den. 3-minute read. September 18, 2019. This is 2 years ago. A prominent California Democratic Party donor, Edward Buck, has been charged with operating a drug den after injecting a man with methamphetamine in his West Hollywood home, where two other men previously, so this is the third guy, two other men previously died of apparent overdoses. Buck, who donated to former President Barack Obama, 2016 Democratic presidential nominee Hillary Clinton, is well-known activist in California politics. Buck's attorney Seymour Amster declined to comment. Of course, he did. Buck, 65, was arrested on Tuesday. This is again, when was this? September of 2019. Buck, 65, was arrested on Tuesday by Los Angeles County Sheriff's deputies and held on bail of $4 million, according to online inmate records. $4 million. So he's drugging up 20-year-old young guys, black guys exclusively, taking them to his Hollywood den, giving them drugs. Yeah, baby. And then having sex with them while they're out of their mind. No different than what people said Bill Cosby was doing, right? Drugging women. It's like slipping you a Mickey with you willingly. Look, listen, if I go, hey, come back to my place, we can smoke some weed and have some sex. Weed is not going to make you all loopy and unconscious, right? Uh, but I mean, this is where you're at. This is where you're at. Even if you don't give the drugs to him, like shoot it, inject, you let him shoot and do it in your house, so you could take advantage of this. This is all bad, and this is the third time. So something tells me two things are gonna happen. They're gonna keep pushing back and pushing back and pushing back a trial date for 10 years, and he's just gonna die on his own, or somebody will come along and drop the charges. for, you can't prove he injected it. Double talk, triple talk, triple talk. It's a game of keep away. It took 10 years to bring that Holmes girl to trial. 10 years. Was it 10 years? I want to say it was like 8 years, 8 to 10 years. We're not going to look that up because that's another rabbit hole. He was not expecting to appear in court for arraignment. So he's not expected to appear in court for arraignment before Thursday, said Greg Risling, a spokesman for the Los Angeles County District Attorney's Office. Buck made headlines earlier this year after a man was found dead at his West Hollywood apartment on January 7th, less than 2 years after another man died there. They died of apparent methamphetamine overdoses, the Los Angeles County District Attorney's Office said in court papers. Both men were African American, Buck is white. Amster, following the second death, told the Los Angeles Times in an article published in March that his client had a heart of gold and brought troubled people into his home to offer them help and methamphetamine, and then to bang them in the pooper. Heart of gold. But hey, I can do this to black people, no one will care. There's some of that. Remember that cop that was exclusively raping old black ladies? They sent him to jail for 30 years. Not 30 years, for life in prison. Yeah, he raped like 6 old black ladies, like 65 and older. I will prove my innocence, he was crying at the trial. Just feeding on people that no, and people had told he did this to me. They were like, get out of here. I was just kind of like, that story is crazy. Prosecutors said that on September 11th, Buck injected methamphetamine into 37-year-old identified as John Doe. I'm sorry, as Joe Doe. Joe, not John, Joe. Joe Doe, who overdosed but survived after fleeing the apartment. At one point, Buck tried to stop the man from getting help, they said. Buck was charged on Tuesday with one felony count each of battery causing serious injury in 2 counts. That's it. 2 counts of serious injury, administering methamphetamine, and maintaining a drug warehouse. Okay, hold on, wait. Buck was charged on Tuesday with one felony count each of battery causing serious injury, administering methamphetamine, and maintaining a drug house. So this is one charge: administering methamphetamine and maintaining a drug house. and this is one charge: causing serious body, uh, cause for any kind of battery causing serious injury. So he's got two counts of that. Hmm. Buck preys on men made vulnerable by addiction and homelessness, said, and he manipulates his victims into participating in his sexual fetishes, prosecutors said in court papers. I remain deeply concerned for the safety of people whose life circumstances may make them more vulnerable to criminal predators, Los Angeles County District Attorney Jackie Lacey said in a statement. U.S. Representative Karen Bass, a Democrat from California, said in a statement that Buck arrest was too little too late because nothing was done in the immediate aftermath of the death of two black men at his home. This is the third guy. Uh, the Clintons never said a word about this guy. Neither has anybody else who took money from him. The inaction in response has had a message that was loud and clear. Black gay lives obviously didn't matter. Okay. Buck is convicted. If convicted of the charge against him, face a possible maximum sentence of 5 years and 8 months in a state prison. 5 years. Okay. Well, let's just see what happened. This story is 2 years old. Let's see what happened with this story. Let's do a Google search for Ed Buck. Ed Buck is convicted in two deaths. 2021. So he was convicted in June. What happens now? On all counts, two counts. He should have been charged with like 8 things. See, you throw the book at some people, but other people get. Ugh. Here you go. Ed Buck in 2010 has given more than $500,000 to mostly Democratic political causes since 2000. On Tuesday, oh, they upped the charges. Ed Buck, a wealthy political activist and Democratic donor, has been found guilty on charges that he injected gay men with methamphetamine in the exchange for sex, leading to two deaths and other overdoses. On Tuesday, when was this story we're reading? We'll get to the July 2021. Tuesday, July 2021. On Tuesday, the federal jury convicted uh, on Tuesday, a federal jury convicted of all 9 felony counts, which could lead to a life sentence. So the first story we read was two guys, two charges, three guys, two charges. Uh, they upped that to 9, all felonies. The verdict came after 4 years after one of the victims was found dead in an overdose of Bucktown. Blah, 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 blah. All right, prosecutors, what was his sentencing? All right, now I'm just curious. What is his sentence? Convicted on all counts, found guilty, methamphetamine. Ed Buck sent. Oh, you know what? Let's look up his Wikipedia and let's see what it says. Career, personal life, criminal investigation. Awaiting sentencing. He's awaiting sentencing. Criminal held without bond, so he's awaiting sentencing in prison. Ooh, okay. Because he's a millionaire and he'll just skip town. Yeah, all right. Well, there you have it. Um, he's awaiting sentencing. I'm curious as to what he's gonna get. All right. I guess that is it for us. Let's check the chat. Jelane's brother say he would not name clients. What? Say she would not name clients. What would? Well, here's the thing. The first thing that normally happens with sex cases is they take the little black book and no one ever sees it again, right? It's a sign of them protecting themselves more than anything else, right? You know who the prostitutes are. You never know who the guys are. So and beware of strange bedfellows, right? So a lot of these moral people and these what I would call you know powerful women, um, have made essentially prostitution human trafficking. And I've said it before, so just watch your ass. This is more of that. Um, the woman is never charged with human trafficking. The guys are. And human trafficking will get you 30 years. So it is what it is, man. Uh, Not worth it. And I'm pretty sure they know who her client list was. They just won't release it. The media can squawk all day. They won't get anywhere near it. And she's not going to write it down because now they read all her mail, and if she writes a letter, they read that before she sends it out, right? So she's not. I mean, who's she going to tell it to? They have to approve her interviews. They just want to approve it. Who she's going to? She can take it to her grave, and she likely will. And she'll say, and then people will just go, "That's bullshit. Wasn't me. What are you talking about? Prove it." And she's in a cell. I have information. Go get it. Right? It's all. I think she's gonna sit in prison and rot. But she is supposedly like, is she royalty? Is she, what do they call it? Like Princess Diana was sort of like that, right? She was royalty, but she wasn't. Um, Her father was famously owner of the New York Post and was sketchy with money. She was his favorite daughter. He fell into the Thames River and drowned off a giant yacht. They found out that he was siphoning money and the place was broke, right? Um, yeah, exactly. For all we know, she's screaming her head off right now. We won't ever know it, right? Tiny little box marked in some government folder as a special prisoner, right? So it's man in the iron mask shit. Uh, that's it for me. I get, what time is it? Ooh, it's 8:30. All right, that is it for me. I will see you guys tomorrow, 10 a.m. for the Sunday session. Come on through. It's good for your soul. What a day I had, man. Um, didn't get a lot done. All right. Yeah, Lady Ghislaine. Ghislaine means hostage in French. Why'd you name your daughter hostage? Why'd you do that? Why'd you do that? There's got to be a story why she was named hostage. Is Ghislaine a famous character in a book? Ghislaine name. All right. What is the meaning of the name Ghislaine? The name Ghislaine is primarily the female name of French origin that means pledge. Okay, I heard hostage. Now, pledge sounds better. Pledge is like naming your daughter Patience or Charity or um, Hope, right? Lady's name Hope, right? French form of the Latin Ghislaine and Germanic Ghislaine. 7th century Belgium saint. Oh, so a saint, she's named after a saint. That makes more sense than just naming your daughter hostage. It had to mean something. Ghislaine, let's read this up. Masculine, Ghislaine, 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 Slain. Uh, and feminine, Ghislaine, Ghislaine. There's an E on it. All right. It's a boy or girl's name. In French personal name used in countries with French-speaking population, the name derives from Germanic word gisal, Gisal, hostage, and lind, sweet, sweet hostage. Oh, hmm. The name possibly becomes popular as it was added to the names given to children at birth to afford them protection by Saint Ghislaine of Hanut. All right, we have to look up Saint Ghislaine of Hanut before this gets really anymore. All right, hold on. And then there's a ton of people named Ghislaine. Saint Ghislaine died 680. Probably Germanic, Belgian, Roman Catholic saint whose name was later given to children. Okay. Oh, here you go. What did they die of? Then there's all these other Ghislaines. Uh, Born 1988, Brazilian footballer Ghislaine Kristen Souza de Silva. Canadian filmmaker Ghislaine Cote. Ghislaine Raza, born 1988, creator of the viral video Star Wars Kid. Ghislaine Themster. Canadian. So she's not even mentioned here. Ghislaine, Harvey, LaBelle, Poirier, and then Demonier, Maxwell, Lady Ghislaine, yacht named after Maxwell. Oh no, here she is, Ghislaine Maxwell. She's a British socialite, daughter of Robert Maxwell, companion of Jeffrey Epstein, and convicted sex criminal. The yacht that he fell off of and drowned on in 1986. Uh, man, all right. Saint Ghislaine, really cool. Wait, hold on. Is this the place? I thought this was a saint. Yeah. All right. Was probably a Germanic origin. Ghislaine lived in the province of Hainaut in the time of Amandus. Died 679. Saint Walter. Da, 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 da. What did they kill him for? Veneration. Ghislaine died at Ursidongus, and the monastery which he had founded took his name. The relic of the saint were first disinterred circa 929. They were transferred. What did he die of? It's hunted drain. Summoned Catherine, order sound, essentially that also known as, but he was. Jane would spend some time in the. He so entered. It was probably that just like influence to the religion vocation of Agdengonde, abbess of Malbege. I hate French pronunciations. Also, Amalbege and Altrude, of whom the first was the sister and the last two daughters of Waltrid. I don't even understand the sentence I just read. One day, Allegonde, in her monastery of Malbao, had a vision which, according to her biographer, the death of Amandus, Bishop of Tongeren, was revealed to her. Ghislaine visited the saint in her villa of Moreau near Malbege and explained to her that the vision was an announcement of her own approaching death. The intercourse between Ghislaine and Legande brought about a perfect understanding between Malberg and the monastery founded at the Ursendingus. And when they say the intercourse, they don't mean actual physical sex intercourse. They mean like an intersection, like the dialogue, like the interconnection between these people. Uh, Became one, right? Like it's that's what intercourse is. Two people becoming one person for a little bit, and then right. So the idea of the don't get your mind out of the gut. It's not intercourse. Intercourse. It's dialogue. Intercourse. It's uh, the intercourse between Ghislaine and Agande brought about a perfect understanding between Malbaj and the monastery founded at the Orsadungus. So no one killed her. She said, I think I'm going to die. So she goes talk to the town magistrate, explains that I'm going to die and you're going to die. And then they both talk. And then the town magistrate stops harassing the churches and the nuns. They come to an understanding. And that's it. They make her a saint. All right. That's it. Too much internet for me. That doesn't make any sense. Um, let's, oh, we can't click that. That ends the stream. Uh, Present on stream. We can stop that. I said stop that. All right. So I want to thank everybody. We can dismiss this for coming through. Um, let's get into chat before we do. Uh, yeah, her lips are permanently sealed. Thank you for the heart bomb, William. Thank you, Ted, for the love. Thank you, Dr. G, for the love. I appreciate you. Please like and subscribe. This app will not let you stay subscribed to people. It's weird. Um, da-da. Subscribe to user. I've subscribed. I've subscribed. Yeah, it don't make any sense. So yes, my gaming channel and my YouTube channel. Please swing by, like, and subscribe. I'm trying to load up. Do y'all want to see that closer? Against this ridiculously red shirt, right? Uh, I'm trying to load up on fans so we can take over the world with wisdom and video games and interesting guitar playing. Which, by the way, is going well. I think I'm having breakthroughs, but I'm not sure. It's been a while since I've written anything good. Well, that's not true. In my guitar book. Huh. All right. I'm gonna have to better organize this book. It's getting a little all over the place. It's beginning to look like Indiana Jones is what do they call that? That his codex. All right, that's it for us. We're gonna take off, guys. Enjoy the rest of your night. Please like and subscribe. I will see you tomorrow at 10 a.m. Have coffee ready. Sunday session. I'll try and have a shave and a new shirt on. And I will see you in the next one. The next one is tomorrow, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Uh, Normally we stream either 6:30 or 7. About 6 days a week, 5, 6 days a week. Um, and we're expanding. So yeah, let's expand and get to the next level together. I will see you in the next one. Have a good weekend. If I don't see you, but hopefully I will. But if I don't, have a good weekend. Take care of yourself. Peace.